Okay, we're going to switch gears here a little bit, but before we do, you want a refill, Fahad?
Why?
You're going to need one for this question.
I'm going to need one for this question? What question is that? What do you have?
Have you ever smoked pot?
What?
Have you ever smoked pot?
That was your question?
That's it.
No. What is the question?
We're going to go in here to a stock that we haven't never talked about before. This thing's smoking hot right now, and that's CannTrust, symbol CTNT.
Now I see why you were going in that direction. Yes, CannTrust. That was the one that we were just discussing yesterday in the chat room too. This is interesting because actually, let me read this line for you. This comes from actually one of the analysts that followed the company from the very beginning when it was first listed in Canada. Get this. On method of grow, if you refer to the cultivation section, we detail the cost of growing indoor is more expensive than growing in a greenhouse, which is in turn is more expensive than growing outside. There's also a method of grow called perpetual harvest that comes with lower cost. CannTrust uses this method, and that's why it's successful. So now you know how to grow pot.
Look at this, too. Have you seen these revenue projections for the next few years?
It's wild. I mean, take a look at this. I mean, sometimes I have to wonder, though, if there's too much hope, just a lot of hope built into these things, because I don't know exactly the metrics behind how they come up with these projections estimate, but this is just going absolutely parabolic. Take a look at this chart, folks. 2018 revenues were $48 million. Expected to rise to $164 million in 2019. That's a 300% increase, then rise to 286 million in 2020, and then from there it just continues at a path of 100% growth essentially year over year for several more years. So absolutely crazy growth rate illustrated by the street estimates right now on this. Here's something, another one for you that catches my attention as I was looking at this earlier. This one comes also from another analyst that was closely following this when it was first listed in Canada. And they talked about, here's a specific line, we expect international revenue to be initially small. We just looked at that in the chart that talked about this. But then this ramp higher that we were just looking at, it's going to be because the company in 2019 expects to enter in a larger market such as Germany. And then by late 2019, in Latin America, which will start to contribute to some massive, massive revenue growth.
And they also say here that those international markets, though, are not part of their current estimates. So that's all additional growth on top of it.
Right. So this is all upside, basically, on top of what's already out in the street estimates.
Look at this picture here, too. These are partners that CannTrust is brand building with. You know what this means, right?
Yeah.
You have CBD-infused applesauce, cereal, General Mills, Walmart, Costco, Jack Daniels, and Fisher Price. I'm not sure I can even guess what that means.
Serving your 6-year-old daughter a CBD-infused cereal before sending to school this morning?
Apparently we'll be there someday.
It's unbelievable, exactly. Guys, this is, I guess, the future looks like. We're going to have everything CBD-infused. CBD-infused oil, CBD-infused food, beverage, alcohol, whatever you want, even beauty products, all kinds of things. So they're in Walmart, they're getting in Costco, they're getting in Kraft Foods, they're getting in General Mills, as you mentioned. There's just tons and tons of brands that are mentioned over here. Next one, CannTrust Medical Patient Base. This is wild too. I think this company more than just basically CBD-infused consumer products, right? I mean, they have a big presence, it seems like it, also in the medical business, medical marijuana business. And this one just basically shows the company in 2017 at about 40,000 patients that were using their medical marijuana. And then that expected to increase by about, 25% year over year for the next 2 years, 3 years?
3 years running, yeah.
Some really crazy estimates that are out there. One last thing I will also mention is that the company is adding a whole bunch of new production lines to basically meet these guidance that they are putting out, as well as what the analysts are expecting. There was a large partnership that was signed for distribution with Apotex, which is a distribution partner in Canada. The biggest hurdle, I believe, for all of these marijuana companies still continues to be the United States. I mean, there have been so much discussion about this. The U.S. federal laws still prohibit federal banking system to accept marijuana money. That's why it's still
Right.
is still carried out in the local states. And also there are barriers even between states, where the ones that have already legalized for recreational use and ones that do not, for cross-border traffic and whatnot. So, but Canada is fully
I think
legalized.
it's only a matter of time
It is.
before it happens here too.
In fact, Germany is also going to go completely legalized. It's been talked about quite a bit in the past too.
This thing's been running all year long, up
Yeah.
to a new 52-week high right now.
The chart is breaking out over here. If you look at the technical picture over here, there was a high volume spike, 3 days ago on March 18th. And then it came up to a major resistance, VOP resistance at $10. And then from here, I think that the spike in the volume is telling me that it's knocking on the door. It wants to break out through that resistance and run higher. The thing about pot stocks is that when they run strong. They don't stop on their tracks, and they can just continue to go.
Yeah, obviously everybody's excited about them right now too. And what about options activity? I know we see here a bunch of April 10 calls going off this week.
Yeah, this was today. They were buying, bulk of it was bought in the front month, naturally because the stock is strong, so there was no need to pay up for any outer months. They're just trading the momentum here. About 1,800 contracts traded in April 10 strike. But then if you actually look closely, there were also buyers present at practically every month in the option chain. These are not large block sizes. This is not
Right.
institutional participation at this point. It's only a $10 stock, but we saw action in May. We saw action a little bit in September, and the same thing happened yesterday as well. So gradually open interest continues to build along all of these option chains. So going back to a three-prong approach, as we do it all the time, we got fundamentals, check, technicals, check, and option activity, check. So I think this thing is going to break out. It's going to run for a while. What do you think?
Should be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely.